Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Masi. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a Cash App as well. Either way, links are down below in the info box. I'll get to as soon as I can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And this time, it's for Chinatown, the 1974 film, which I had never seen at this point because I do not like the director Roman Polanski. I think he's a vile human being that did stuff to young children. He ran away like the bitch he is overseas, stayed there, because he knew if he'd come here his ass would be grass, as it deserves. And I'm not even a fan of his movies. I'm not a fan of Frantic. I think that's one of the most boring Harrison Ford films I've seen. I'm not into Rosemary's Baby. Maybe he's into babies, but I ain't. Let alone Rosemary's. But I will admit, Chinatown is a good movie. So for those who say I can't take a movie and the artist separately, yes, it'd be hard, but I can say Chinatown is a good movie. Now it has an ending that I'm not gun-ho about, but I get it. It's one of those that I respect what it's doing. It's not the type of ending I usually are into and like, but I do think for its purpose it was well done in terms of the script, the acting performances, the time period it's supposed to take place in. I do respect it for that. Now, the cast has a very good cast. That's one of the reasons I do like the film. Jack Nicholson, I thought, did a really good job as Jake Dietz, who's a private investigator. He used to be a cop that worked the Chinatown district, but now he's a PI. And the first scene we witness him is he is showing pictures to Burt Young. Not Burt Reynolds, which I screwed up when I did my one review of The Choir Boys, where I said Burt Young through most of the review, and then one time I just said Burt Reynolds. I don't know why, but Burt Young from Rocky, Paulie, yo Paulie, which is always great to see Burt Young in there. Showing pictures to him, he's getting discombobulated, but at the same time, he now knows the truth about his wife. I do like Burt at least gets to appear later on in the film. So he does get to be used a bit more than just the first scene. Other people in the cast, you have Faye Dunaway, talented actress. John Huston, which is a lot better than the last film I saw him in, Myra Breckenridge. And the plot of the film, it's dealing with water and the control of water in California. Now, it is a time period. It takes place, I'm trying to remember the specific year, 1937. Jack Nicholson is hired, and what I like is Jack Nicholson is a great actor. I think he's one of the best actors we've had. He could be very fun in an entertaining way, like over the top. Some would say, The Shining is my favorite performance of his. Same with Batman from '89. But then there's ones like The Last Detail, which is very good. And this one, he does a great job too, but I would say this is a bit more, I don't know if I want to say subdued, but it's not big, over the top, yelling, screaming all the time. It's much more of a mellow type of Jack, but he's still very good in the role. The reason I pause is to remember the character's name. Mrs. Hollis. There's this guy named Hollis who's an engineer of water and power, and she says, I'm his wife, I want to hire you because I think my husband's cheating on me. He does it. But then comes to find out that that lady who hired him was not the guy's wife. It was someone else to get this guy's picture in the paper and get him a bit discredited, because this whole thing of this group that wants the water, they're stealing water from this valley, from these farmers, and even though it's a drought, water's being taken from other places, and then you realize it's this land development deal, that if you own this piece of land that actually does have a water supply, you did get like over $30 million, and there's rich people who are into this, and maybe the cops have been bought off, and there's a whole dirty deeds done dirt, not so cheap. And in the midst of this is Jack dealing with the real Mrs. Hollis, played by Faye Dunaway. Her husband has been killed. Jack is snooping to see what's going on. He just threatened. There's that famous scene where the guy's got the knife. You know what happens with nosy fellas? Huh? And it like cuts his nose. Very effective, I will say. Very simple but effective effect. Where got the nose, it got the knife right here and does this. You just see the blood squirt, and I would, ooh, like it's a simple effect, but it's like, I can almost feel my nose getting fucking cut from that. It definitely effective. And there's some good lines in the script, which is written by Robert Towne, who is a talented writer. He wrote The Last Detail, which is a good one. I think he helped work on some of the early Mission Impossible films. Says he worked with Tom Cruise on Days of Thunder, which is interesting. I didn't know that. But I like Days of Thunder. Very different from this movie, but anyway. And before going, like, Jerry Goldsmith did the score, which is, I'm a big Jerry Goldsmith fan ever since, him doing the first 3 Rambo films and Search of the Motion Picture and underrated films like Runaway with Tom Selleck, Leviathan with Peter Weller. Always loved Jerry Goldsmith. Does a decent job here with the music. And it really goes with that film noir detective style movie, mixed in with, again, all this conspiracy going on. And like I said, it's a nicely written story in terms of the way the characters interact with each other. And there's some good lines of dialogue, like especially from Jack. Like, listen, I'm not the one supposed to be caught with my pants down. Or, I almost lost my nose because of this. And I like my nose. I like breathing through it. So I like that stuff. I thought he worked well with Faye Dunaway, and they had a nice chemistry with each other. I thought Jack, had a couple of... I kind of wish we saw more of this, but he had a couple of interesting detective tricks. Like, he puts a watch down by the tire. And I'm like, why is he doing that? But it's to know when the car leaves, it's going to hit the watch, and then he'll see the time of, oh, well, that's when he left. This person was there for that long, and I'll know because obviously that's when the car ran over, and that's where the clock stops, and he has an extra pocket watch. Like, he has quite a few of these. I kind of wish we'd start to see a little bit more of his tricks as a PI. Like I said, it is kind of a lengthy film. It is over 2 hours long. Like I said, at least with the actors, I was intrigued to see what would happen next. And I didn't mind the way the film looked in terms of trying to look like the 1930s. I thought they did a decent, authentic job of that. John Huston, he pops in as Faye Dunaway's dad, and you learn some pretty dirty secrets of him. I did like the line that he says, "Politicians, whores, and ugly buildings." respectable. They did respectable if it lasts long enough. So yeah, politicians, whores, and ugly buildings. They did respectable if it lasts long enough. Now, at the end, is this the type of movie I typically go towards? No. If it's a detective story, then yes, I'm a sucker for. I wish there was a bit more action, or wish there was a bit more cat mouse suspense. That there's a bit more of our PI doing heroic deeds. I'm just a sucker for that. And Jat didn't really get to play a whole lot of those type of detectives. I know there's a sequel to this called The Two Jakes, but I know they got a lot of bad reviews. I think Jack Nicholson directed that one. That came around 1990, 89, somewhere around there. But this is one of those movies where if you're going in for action or a whole heck of a lot of suspense, it's not that kind of movie. It is more of mystery drama with a capable cast. And spoiler alert, you find out that each time Faye Dunaway, her dad is mentioned, you tell she does a bit of a twitch and a nervous bit of business. And then there's this girl that Jack sees that Faye seems to take care of. At one point she says it's her daughter. At one point she says it's her sister. Jack's getting pissed at her and even beats the shit out of her. This is how films were back in the day. You lead to beat the hell out of your lady. Your lady co-star. And then she breaks down and says she's both. Because John Huston had screwed her, literally, had a daughter, and thus the daughter is also the sister. Jack, of course, is... But what more could he do? Seems like the cops are trying to put the blame on Faye Dunaway that she killed her husband. Jack, of course, knows that's not true. Says, we'll try to help you guys get away. Tries to get Burt Young to help. Which, again, was nice to see Burt Young back in the film. And I thought the scenes that him and Jack shared were kind of some nice little back and forth. Where Jack finds Burt, having dinner with his family. Okay, we gotta go. Oh, can we have like dinner first? No, we gotta go. And then you have the ending, which I'll admit the ending is definitely a gut punch ending. So it's effective in what its purpose was. Which is, Jack is trying to tell the cop that he knew in Chinatown. He's not having in it. I guess we're supposed to infer that this guy's in on... I wasn't 100% sure if the guy was on the take or he just doesn't trust Jack and just thinks Jack is lying for the fuck of it. Because I know we're not supposed to trust some of the cops. But anyway, he doesn't believe in Jack. Faye Dunaway tries to get her daughter away from John Huston. They're driving a car. A cop shoots. You hear that the car horn as the car stops. They get up and Faye Dunaway's been killed. Her daughter's freaked out. John Huston takes her away. Jack Nicholson is, in shock. He's ready to do something, but his buddies come and goes, that famous line, "Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown." Which I do remember hearing that line multiple times before I ever saw the film. And it does accomplish its goal and be a gut punch. Now, again, is it my favorite type of ending? No. I get it. Sometimes the bad guys win. I get it. What it's trying to say about how Jack Nicholson's character, he was kind of the up and up guy, maybe a bit gullible, maybe a bit naive in a way, and talk about a rude awakening. At just how the little man sometimes can't win over the big dogs. And that happened a lot in the 70s. That was a big part of filmmaking in the 70s where Not every movie, but there's a lot of movies where the little man can't overcome whether the government or the police or the corruption, or a lot of times they have a bit of those harder punched, bit more downbeat endings. And listen, I get it. I hear conflicting reports about the ending of this, where at one point Robert Towne said he didn't want that to be the ending. He wanted to be Faye Dunaway just put into, like, he wanted a happier ending, but then the director said no. And he said, well, actually, what I wanted was that Faye Dunaway would shoot the guy, but then would go to jail. So it would still have that tragic element where, yes, she's in jail, and for us, the audience, we feel like she doesn't deserve to be in jail, but at least she did kill John Huston's character. And that's the thing, is it's just so totally hopeless. And I know that's the point of it. Again, for those of you who don't get it, I do get it. It's just, I can only speak personally, a personal taste. It's not my go-to in terms of movies and stories. It just, still, it doesn't always have to be a happy ending. I know that. I don't know why I'm arguing with myself. It's just, the fact that he totally loses. Like, there's no win. At least even one win. If he mostly got, like, if it's 3/4 of a loss, give him a fourth of a win. Like, I don't know, just, if he's losing 8 out of 10 times, give him, a 2. Like, 2 little wins. Like, give him something, man. But, no. Again, it's just that Jack Nicholson, his character, doesn't really accomplish anything as a PI. He figures out what's going on, but his buddy, who's still a cop, a lieutenant, whatever, doesn't want to listen to him anymore, doesn't believe in him. Either because he's on the take or just generally doesn't believe in him. This girl didn't deserve a Faye Dunaway, she dies. Her daughter's going on with John Huston, who's obviously a fucking sicko because he fucked his own daughter. So who knows what happened to that girl. At least maybe if Jack Nicholson could get the girl and he could take care of her, so she's somewhere safe. But not even that, no. So it's just a bummer of an ending, and just... But I can't say it's a bad movie, because I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's well made. I think it's a good looking film. I think, the performances. I even like the way it opens, where it opens like an older movie, with the font and the music, and the way the titles are. Some memorable lines of dialogue. Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown. It works effective. But yeah, the bad guys do win. And it's just, that's just not my taste. You have particular taste. Yes, I do, because I know what my taste is. But are there exceptions? There's always exceptions. But again, that's what I'm saying. While I don't care for that direction of the story, it's still a well-told story. You can tell it's a good script with, again, a capable cast, good performances, and it kept me interested to see where it was going. Him finding out about, like, this one bit where he's trying to ask questions and people try to beat on him and he's able to fight back. He gets knocked out, then, oh shit, we better get him here, back to our house so he don't die or anything. he gets a bit of info, and he has to be picked up by Faye Dunaway. And there's some nice... Again, Faye Dunaway and Judd Nicholson, I thought, worked well together. With that said, not a bad film at all. It's a good one. So I know there's people with much more deeper depth-filled reviews of Chinatown. Well, if that's the case, then there's nothing more I can say that they haven't said. So, take that for you will. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.